You're listening to FAMcast, the For All Mankind podcast, with your hosts, the competitive spirit, Trey Simpson, our own devil's advocate, Tim Weber, and the hopelessly optimistic Trevor Jorgensen. This is FAMcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 77. I'm here with the full Fam crew today, myself, Trey, and Tim. And
Tim.
that is Tim. Well,
you're Tim?
I'm here with two Tims today. Verdict's still out on where Trey's at.
He's a cooler Tim.
He's gone.
We're here after a pretty wild day yesterday. Yesterday being Wednesday the 17th. I'm sure most of you listening probably know that was the PlayStation 5 showcase. Kind of long awaited. People have been waiting. I mean, really all summer. They're like I think this is like the last week of summer actually. So, they kind of waited as long as they could to announce all this stuff, right? We've been waiting for a price and release date. We just got it last week from Xbox, which I'm sure if you listen to episode 76, you know all about that. But yesterday we finally got release date, price, pre-order games. We got a ton of stuff for PlayStation 5, including some aftermath, right? Everything was announced, and then we had a pretty interesting evening yesterday. Really, all three of us did. So I guess
for me.
Yeah. I guess we'll get into that when it comes, but for now, I think maybe we'll kind of lead in with some of the lighter stuff, which is the games. If that sounds all right with you guys.
Lighter.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because we've got a lot to discuss, and I know the games weren't really the highlight. It was more like everyone was kind of waiting for the price and date, but the games kind of blew me away. Like I didn't expect the announcements that we got. I knew it was going to be a 40-minute showcase, but some of this stuff I was really hopeful for, but didn't expect. What were you saying, Trey?
I think there was the one that I kind of expected was the Spider-Man. Like I was hoping I would see more.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Like they've been not teasing at it, but they've been talking a lot about the game. I kind of figured it was going to be happening. So
yeah, I'd hope so too, because that was their big like flagship. That's like their big launch title, I guess, in my opinion. Yep. To Tim, it might be something else, but I'll try and go in order, I guess, with what I remembered. The only reason I say that is I was kind of blown away they kicked things off yesterday the way that they did. They're like, okay, hey, we're jumping into the showcase. Didn't really know what they were going to start with, but they started off with Final Fantasy XVI.
Yes, sir.
Which, like, I know there's always rumors, right? Like people are like, oh, right. maybe we'll get 16, and I'm like, I don't know. But man, I didn't expect it, and damn, does it look gorgeous?
Oh my gosh, yes, it does.
It looks beautiful. I know.
I like because they're taking it back to like the very like, what's the word I'm looking for? The very like regal, like classic, like knights, like nothing like crazy technological.
Yeah, knights.
At least
from
what we can see so far. Yeah, it's a very like reminiscent of like Final Fantasy 1 and 2, like the original like OG.
Yeah.
Or like tactics, like that kind of style.
Feels original
go
RPG.
On.
Yeah, it has like that. Like, yeah, it gives it that. Yeah, that the original RPG, like olden day medieval. I don't know what else to call it, but
yeah,
I can't wait.
I mean, obviously we don't know much. It was just, hey, here's something that we're working on, and that's pretty much all you're gonna get. I'm pumped. Couldn't really piece together the story all that much. I was too distracted by how gorgeous everything was, but I always love seeing the summons, right? Like the summons are like that big graphical thing that just kind of they're like the cinematic highlight, in my opinion, for Final Fantasy.
Well, I think that's like the part of the story actually is about the summons, because this is like the tale of the end of the crystal, or the story of the crystal. So
it and obviously this is just a guess, but the way that they were describing it almost sounded like these people were split into tribes, for like the different summons, and it seemed like the one kid turned into the Phoenix at the end.
Yeah.
But then like someone else turned into Ifrit. If that was Ifrit, it kind of looked like it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could have been Ifrit, could have been Bahamut. I couldn't really get a good tell on it.
Whoever they are, they're freaking awesome.
Badass. Yeah.
And I always love seeing the classic enemies too, like seeing the Marlboro.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was a neat.
Yeah, the Marlboro looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I caught from it is that it's the thing that I'm seeing on like social media and everything. That everyone's like, oh, it's just Final Fantasy 15 all over again. I'm like, no, this absolutely looks different. I get the gameplay of like the action RPG.
Yeah,
like people are probably like saying that it's like that, but I wouldn't even consider Final Fantasy 15 an action RPG.
Yeah, I know we got to see a little bit of the gameplay, but I'm definitely very interested to see more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, especially with the the strides they made with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude! I was hoping I would have saw a 7 Part 2 trailer.
Yeah.
I would have lost it.
Yep. Without taking too much time on each game, I think this is something it was kind of like a tease, right? Like the PlayStation is going to be really awesome. This is where you're going to go for brand new next gen games, but you probably won't see this one for like another 2 years. That's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah.
I would probably say like a 2022 release date if I had to take a swing at it.
I don't know. I think maybe late 2021 or next year.
I hope so. Trust me, I would be 100% happy with it.
Seems like it was pretty far along.
We're gonna see Final Fantasy 16 before we see Elder Scrolls 6.
Yes, I would agree with that.
That's true.
That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Man, I feel like that's a topic in its own. I don't like games being announced that early.
We saw that at our first E3.
Yeah. Our Bethesda showcase.
Was that our first E3?
Yeah.
Or was it our second?
It was our second because I didn't get to go to the E3 game show the first time when you guys went.
You're right.
So
that's right.
I got to go the second
It was in the big
time.
arena thing.
But it was still a while ago.
It was we were all sitting together and I had to pee so bad I had to leave the showcase. Do you remember that? I was like dancing in the alleyway.
I do remember that.
And then I just spent the rest of it because I didn't want to make my way back in because I didn't want to bother people. So I was just out there like watching on the screens, eating like all the food they had out there. Like, oh, Skyrim or Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls. So real, because I know you don't want to stay on Final Fantasy very long, but I want to ask Trey some questions real quick.
Please, yeah, absolutely.
Like, one, honestly, okay, so not the biggest Final Fantasy person in the world, right? Or like pretty much at all.
Yeah.
I just don't play the series, right? So I never kept up with this news about this, but I know how big of a deal Final Fantasy is. So it really surprised me that it got announced. I didn't hear, I've not heard a single thing about a new Final Fantasy game coming out, like at all up until that happened.
Yeah.
Personally, right?
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, Final Fantasy games don't necessarily connect, right?
No. Unless they're
so like
it's like
unless
10,
it's a sequel.
10-2.
Yeah.
So like 15 there was nothing in 15 that had to do with like 7 or 8 or whatever. So if I play 16, I don't need to worry about anything prior.
Correct.
Because that's always what threw me off was like, I don't want to play a game that I'm 15 games behind, you know?
Yeah. No, you wouldn't be behind. Yeah, these are every Final Fantasy just about is all like singular, like its own storyline sort of thing.
But they're so similar.
Yeah, I mean, there's like some stuff that are rumored. Like people think that 7 and 10 are connected somehow because the Shinra power plant is in both, or the Shinra company is in both of them. But I don't know.
I feel like
did you know of this getting announced? Like, was this a surprise to you?
Yeah, this was an absolute surprise to me. I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, is this like some new IP? Is this Deep Down? Like, is Capcom finally like showing off Deep Down and like full as full game? But it wasn't. And then as soon as I saw the Chocobos, I was like, "Whoa!" Like I'm surprised Trevor didn't hear me upstairs. But yeah, this was complete news to me because I heard there's like rumors of the Final Fantasy 16 being in the works, and like it was going to be a female main character lead, which I was all for, but obviously it was not. I can't wait. I'm stoked. Looks like the same people who did 15, because I can tell by the character style it's kind of the same.
Or 14? I thought it was 14. That they share the same director.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
The MMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They've been killing it, man. That MMO's been crushing it.
Yeah. I heard
One
story
of the top
wise.
MMOs in the game.
Yeah, I heard story wise, like they've really come and just like blown it out of the water.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in Final Fantasy 14 just because it is an MMO, and from comparing it to like WoW and Elder Scrolls, I think Final Fantasy 14 is the best looking MMO. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think it just looks it's so gorgeous.
It looks really good. Absolutely. So moving on from Final Fantasy, the fantastic kickoff that it was, because like you kick off a show like that, like you're already like hyped for the rest of it. Like you just start off so strong like that. And then they go into sorry.
It has a pupils dilated, hand shaking.
Right. Let's go.
Let's go.
Next up was Spider-Man.
Yes.
Which was again, I know we already said it, but that's like I feel like it's their flagship title. Like this is what, if you get someone a PS5 for Christmas, or you get for yourself, you're probably going to be getting Spider-Man along with it. Like that's the game. So yeah, fingers crossed. Finally got to see some gameplay, which was awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And just like right off the bat when they're walking through that rally, and you see like the puddles on the ground, and you see like the ray tracing reflections and stuff.
Oh my
like
gosh,
this game is gorgeous. Then it kind of starts off just kind of like showing how good the game looks on the next gen, right? And then they get into the action, where we start to see some gameplay with. I'm hoping that soundtrack is not part of the trailer and actually part of the gameplay.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Because by far my favorite part about that whole thing was the music that went along well fine. Because look, I don't know much about Miles, right? I don't know much. I know what I know mostly because of Trey and because of Into the Spideyverse, right? Yeah. Which that movie is still probably my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh
that movie
without a doubt
was just everything, right? So that's what I know about Miles, and I just feel like the combat music you get while you're playing as Miles fits that so dang well.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, man. Like me as a Miles fan, he is my absolute favorite Spider-Man of all Spider-Men and women.
And Spider-Man's like your dude, right? Like,
yeah, that's my dude, man. And just the fact that like they showed off his powers exactly like the way they are in the comic book is just like, oh, I cannot wait to play this dude. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like the stealth, the venom shock, like chef's kiss. They're doing such a dang good job on that so far. And they revealed the new villain too, the Tinker. So I'm very intrigued.
Is that like a brand new villain? Like we haven't seen this villain before, like
the
in
Tinker
comics or anything?
The Tinker is in comics.
Gotcha.
I'm not quite sure like what part of the Marvel universe it is they're from, but
gotcha.
It looks cool, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know, because you know how these games work. I mean, there's gonna be multiple villains, so
yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait to see who's all in this.
Without spoiling anything for the original Spider-Man, if you haven't played, but the way that they played all the villains in that, like leading up to the cinematic climax there, that was really well done, man. I hope we see that again. And so we obviously saw it, and that's great. But then we got some finer details, which are cool to discuss too. Found out that it's launching at $50, which is interesting. And they said it's this weird wording that I feel like they're tiptoeing around. It's still a full game, but it's not like an amazing Spider-Man game. It's like a Drake's Legacy of Uncharted, right? To where it's if that makes sense. But obviously, like
It's the PSP version.
Ooh.
I'm just joking.
I mean, but that said, you can tell like this is still a great game. Just because it costs $10 less, or in some cases $20 less, doesn't take away from the fact that this is a fantastic game, right?
So what makes it not Amazing Spider-Man would be my question, right? Is it content, or is it gameplay, or like hours? Like, instead of me getting 20 hours, am I only at 15?
That would be my guess, right? Like just from seeing it, it looks like all the mechanics are there. I mean, with more, right? But so I'm guessing maybe just not as long, maybe. But that's something that I don't know. I feel like that's I don't want to go down
the wording for it's definitely weird. So
yeah,
I mean,
because like when you think expansion, you think a couple hours, right?
Yeah, and
so,
I think
it's not going to be it's not going to be an expansion.
Yeah.
So if I had to take a guess, the reason they're not saying it's a full blown game, but they're also not saying expand, I'm going to guess 10 to 12 hours. That's my guess on how long it is.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'll take any more Spider-Man game time.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man.
They've proven themselves, man, with that last title. They've shown what they can do, and to be fair, the turnaround time, right? Like, because I feel like the turnaround time between Amazing Spider-Man and Miles Morales is so small for like a normal production of like a full game. Think of God of War, right? Like the next God of, well, I guess we'll get into that, but that's not coming out till next year. So I feel like the development time, maybe they were like, hey, we need like a flagship PS5 launch title. Hook us up. We want Miles to be the launch title for PlayStation 5. So who knows what the marketing process was for that.
They definitely had to be working on Miles even before the Amazing Spider-Man came out.
Before it was finished, I would agree. Yeah, absolutely. So the base game itself is $50, but then you can also get the Ultimate Edition that comes with a remastered version of the original game, which is pretty cool. Because I know personally, I probably want to play through that because not that everything's going to tie together with it being two different leaves, but it's still the same city, same universe.
I'd like to see like the I'd like to see the loading screen and everything difference between the games.
For sure. Especially for Avengers.
God bless it.
But another piece, other than the pricing, the other thing that I thought was cool is also launching on PS4.
Which is good.
Which, yeah, it is. I think cross-gen it's a slippery slope. You've got some people that are doing upgrades for free. You've got some people like with Insomniac and Miles, they're giving you the previous game. So it's probably 2 years old now, but they're giving that to you for $20 more, which is, I think, what it goes for regularly. So you're getting a remastered version you can play. So I think that's fair. And you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. But then, again, I won't get us too derailed here, but then you've got people like Control, or Remedy that are with Control to where they're not giving you a free upgrade. You have to buy a separate version of Control in order for it to be the next gen upgrade. So you've got an Xbox, or say you've got a PlayStation 4 version, and then you've got another PlayStation 4 version, but this one's marked for an upgrade. But I've already bought it, so why can't I just upgrade here? So I think some people are a little shadier about it than others. And
stingy would be the word.
Yes, thank you. It's not consumer friendly at that point.
Yeah, it's not. That's kind of crap.
It's different when it's a game that's been out a while. Like if this was a game that was 4 years old or something, like,
right? Okay,
like I guess I maybe get that, but also the game's probably selling for $10 or $20 on the digital store. So I don't know. It's it just doesn't seem right to me, especially with so many others giving free upgrades. You've got
you're just
just not a good customer experience.
Yeah.
So what happened after Miles? I'm trying to think back.
Harry Potter.
What is it? Harry Potter.
Or sorry, yes. Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. Who wants to take this one?
As a game itself, I think it looks cool. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy that this universe is getting more expanded. I think that's really cool. It's a third-person action game, I guess you would call it. I know there were those leaks a while back, like a few years ago, of gameplay that was shown off. But visually, it looks great. It's just unfortunate that J.K. Rowling is still being the way she is. I mean, I feel bad for the dev team that did this, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Tim, before I go on? I don't want to.
So, look, I'm a fan of all the Harry Potter games, at least when I was a kid, right? Like the PS2 versions, and when I had it on the Xbox original, like I was a big fan of those games.
Yeah.
So, like, the kid inside me is really looking at this like, oh my God, this looks amazing, right?
That's exactly how I felt, yeah.
But the grown-up version of me that's played good RPGs looks at this and is like, this feels like one of those games I'm going to enjoy for a couple hours. I think the Harry Potter universe needs to evolve. And what I mean by that is I think they have something there because there's a whole world. There's like Star Wars, right? There's a whole world there that can be made out of what they have, but it needs to get out of Harry Potter, right? It needs to just be like the wizarding world, you know, because I think there's a lot they could do with it if it opened up past just Harry Potter.
Sure.
And just Hogwarts. Like, we're so into this one particular area of this world that was created, and there's so much more to it. We've seen it with Fantastic Beasts, right? Yeah, so there's so much more to it that I would like to be a part of and discover and just, I don't know how to say it, more adult-like. Like, you know, I don't want to be a kid in school anymore. I want to be a wizard. I want to be able to, I want to be
like... You know what? That's true. You know, you see all the stuff with like mainly the kids, of course. It's going to be that appeal. But like, you never see like that real dark side.
I want the Potter,
or like the adult side.
I want the dark side.
Yeah, like it's always about like
there.
The mythical beasts. Like, oh, I got to go bring them back into my suitcase and stuff. But it's like I want to see what a wizard is like, full potential. You know what I mean?
Let's go and discover Voldemort's reign. When he was out terrorizing things and doing everything, and the rebellion against him and the fight, and like, let's see that.
Doesn't that still tie back to Harry Potter though?
Okay, it does, but my point, like, at least it's darker, right? It's bad. It's shut up, yes, but you can't. I
no more Harry Potter, but also a little bit of Harry Potter.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like, stop tying it into just Harry Potter itself anymore.
And there'll probably be a little bit of that because it's in the 1800s, so there probably won't be like too many familiar faces. I've got to do some research, man. I have to see. I want to ask around and kind of see what the right move is, because I'm honestly really torn.
I'm a little conflicted about it.
Because does it look cool? Yeah, it does. You know what? And it's nothing that I'm like, oh yeah, this is a day one purchase, but I'd probably check it out. Like it looks cool. And you know, in the past I've liked the Harry Potter universe, but I don't think where the franchise is at currently, I don't think I can, in my best conscience, support the Harry Potter franchise anymore.
No, I feel you.
But then there's the other side of the coin, right? Like, I don't want to support anything that J.K. Rowling does because she's transphobic, and I don't, she's going to get royalties from this game. But then I think about, okay, there's a really diverse and inclusive dev team that does not agree with her decisions, but still likes the franchise, and they're making something on their own, and she's not involved in it. So I should support them, right? But then also it's still supporting her too.
Right. But I get the conflict there, because if you don't support, if you think you want to buy it, but you don't want to support her, by doing that, you're not supporting a dev team made up by people who are technically against her. If they're doing it, it's a job for them.
For sure.
They're doing their job.
And they're probably
sure she's going to get royalties. So sure, she's going to get royalties of it, but she's going to get royalties over several things.
Yeah.
Right. There's a whole park.
There's a whole, right. So you not doing this game isn't going to do anything for that. But it will help the people who made the game.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think you can go into like my vote doesn't count kind of thing. That at that point you're getting into the same argument.
And this isn't. Yeah.
I won't go down that whole road, but it's going to be a tough choice. I've already seen lots of different views, and I kind of agree with, like, I'll see a point on one side, I'm like, that's a really good point, that's how I'll view this. But then, you know, I see someone reply to that with a different viewpoint, I'm like, actually, yeah, that's actually true. So I don't know, it's nothing that I can decide on right now, but
yeah, it's definitely a tough decision, man.
Here's the good news: there are a bunch of other PS5 games that are coming out that you don't have to worry about that being one of your major ones.
That's true, including
Call of Duty is next.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it still to this day blows my mind that they hype up their campaigns way more than their multiplayer. You know, 90% of the people buying your game don't give two shits about that multiplayer. I didn't start playing the Modern Warfare single player until like 2 weeks ago, just because I was like, why not?
Dude, it's really good.
It's solid.
Yeah,
I like it.
But I don't like, I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I'm sure it's good. But you want to get people hyped for your game? Show them what they want.
They did.
Show them that multiplayer. Let me see what you're doing to Warzone. That's really what I care about.
You just care about Warzone.
They
definitely showed multiplayer.
Did they though? I don't think they showed any multiplayer right there in that trailer. Not one.
Not
bit.
in that trailer, no. But they've shown multiplayer already.
Well, yeah, we had a multiplayer trailer in the whole reveal thing. Sure, I want more.
They had people streaming it like all day.
I want more.
I want
Warzone.
Warzone.
The
I want
alphas.
Warzone.
Then don't you get to play the alpha this weekend? Even though I know you
Yeah,
won't.
it is.
Friday.
I do have to download it.
Oh, do you?
Trey's like, hey, Tim, I'll let you know how it is. I'm just like, I have a PS4.
Anyways.
Wow. Wow, this is bringing out the toxic side of the fan. So yeah, they've got their alpha this weekend. It's Call of Duty. Tim is excited for multiplayer. Trey's excited for all of it.
I mean, I'm not really excited
Zombies,
for
though.
player.
I do want
zombies. I'm more excited for zombies because that's like one of
Zombies
those
will be
things
cool.
that I never really got into.
Bro, me, you, Enders, I promise.
I have it on PC. I think I have it on my...
Do you?
Yeah.
I played
have it on
Zombies
PC,
in Spaceland
and I've got it on my PlayStation.
Infinite War?
Actually, I think I have it on
Infinite
my
War
Xbox as well.
was so good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it on my Xbox, man.
What was oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it looks good.
It does.
It definitely like you can definitely see the leap between last generation's Modern Warfare to Black Ops. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
There's like
the
so
RC
much more
cars
detail.
are way faster.
Okay. Visually, it just looks way better. Like,
freaking out an RC car just zooming.
okay. Anyways, next game.
What's up next?
Next up was Resident Evil.
So with this, I'm honestly shocked. I haven't said anything, but I'm shocked that I've not heard a single thing from Tim. If you're watching the video, you can see right underneath his camera there. It says RE Master, but didn't say a thing about it. Why is that?
We
Tim?
got nothing new.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
It was literally.
You were excited.
I was pumped. It's like, oh, we're gonna get to see something, and they're just like, no. I saw a really fat monster. That was the new thing. It was a really fat monster.
Right, the fat guy at the end.
Yeah, whoever the fat
cigar
thing is that attacks you. Look cool. Like, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though. They dipped into the lore a little bit, and that didn't necessarily sit well with me.
Yeah, the Coraline-esque.
Because that was weird. That was so weird. The Coraline-esque thing they did was weird, but like, it needs to be about bioweapons. It needs to be about bioweapons.
I'm sure it will.
It has to be about bioweapons. It can't be about this whole they evolved into something. And no, it needs to be about bioweapons. I don't care how it ties in, but
I can almost guarantee it's going to be about some kind of like it'll eventually.
Has to
we'll
be,
get
right?
into this mansion or whatever, right? Or this village.
Yeah.
We'll eventually get to the big mansion. We'll get to the basement of this mansion.
Underground
and there's going to be an underground laboratory. Like, you know it's going to happen. And then it's going to explode and you have to escape. It's going to happen. We know it's going to happen.
In the background, you just hear...
Crash.
Crash. Like, we literally got nothing more from that trailer.
Yeah, they showed more of what the werewolf dude, but that's pretty much it.
You'll hear more next weekend at Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah, TGS. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you'll get more then.
Yeah, we're gonna have
That was why I wasn't
a lot of
hyped. I
news.
just
Yeah.
felt like I got another teaser that didn't do me any good.
Yeah.
I always like to. I mean, it was like some new footage, and I know we didn't like get anything like extra, like any new.
We
I
got
don't know,
2021,
information.
so
Yeah.
they did show a date.
Was that not
Ish.
there before? I thought it was.
No.
Oh, was
No.
It might have
Okay.
been.
I don't think it showed it in the first trailer. I could be
Gotcha.
wrong, but I don't remember seeing it in the first trailer.
I remember when they first announced it, and they had that thing at the end where it said like August 2020.
That's what it was. That's what it was. And I was like,
we were all like, "What? There's no way." But then they're like, "Oh, more news coming."
dude, I miss games doing that.
Yeah.
It's available right now.
Yeah.
Well.
Hey, I feel like Nintendo kind of does that better than anyone anymore.
I agree.
absolutely.
Like same year,
100%.
they'll do it same year, and that's why we haven't heard. Well, I guess they did tease Breath of the Wild, and that's kind of on the outskirts. But think about the Mario collection that just got announced 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Um,
And here it
Nintendo
is.
is so consumer friendly. It's unbelievable.
well,
Hmm.
and I don't.
That's another podcast.
Friendly. Separate podcast.
Yeah. What's up next?
Deathloop.
Devil May Cry. Damn it.
Oh, Deathloop.
Yep.
So.
They showed off a new character.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 new characters technically. But
I like the format of this game. We've talked about it before. We've talked about it on E3 podcast and probably other showcases. So there's probably not a whole need to go deep into this, but I like that it's like this chain reaction where you go interrupt this thing, and now this guy, instead of discovering this science thing, he gets to go to this party, and then you get to kill 2 guys at once. And
it's like the butterfly effect sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that there's going to be different ways to complete these missions.
It's a neat concept. It's a neat game.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it because there's also the thought of there's also another person hunting you.
Yeah,
While you're
That was
hunting
my
down these other
question. Is it
people.
another player? Or
Yeah,
is it
it's
an
another
NPC?
player.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's even cooler.
Can you do it both? Like, can you do it single player and multiplayer? I assume, or is it like a multiplayer?
Not
I
sure.
don't know
hope
about
you have
that
to
part.
Suffer
But
through. I hope you have to suffer through someone hunting you at all times.
Yeah,
And it'll be me, Trevor.
yeah, I know it will.
It'll be-
Well, no, we don't play co-op games together, so.
That's true. Well, it wouldn't be co-op. It's versus. I'm down.
I also like the 60s spy thriller kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
I like
really
that aesthetic a lot.
neat. What's up next?
Now it's Devil May Cry for you, Tim.
So close. So I went through like mixed emotions watching this because
Yeah.
I went through, oh, okay, it's Devil May Cry 5. Like, I love Devil May Cry 5. It was a phenomenal bring back to the series that I waited for so long, and it appeased me in every way. So I was super happy about it. But you see these things just like, okay, but they don't need to show this necessarily Devil May Cry 5 off again on a next gen thing, right? Like I didn't. But then you see that you get to play as Virgil and that whole aspect of it, and oh my god, I was like, yes, yes. So 100%, I will be buying this just to play as Virgil alone,
Yeah.
just to have that extra. And there's so much. There's other stuff coming to it. Like, it's not just that. There is a lot of other stuff. They have different game modes, more brutal game modes. So it's definitely a bigger addition. Which I know this is probably wrong podcast. It is coming to Xbox, and I will be buying it on Xbox. But I'm super stoked that we are getting a definitive edition now of Devil May Cry 5, and it's going to have all these extra features. Like, because Devil May Cry 5 was just phenomenal. Like, and I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I'm still playing through it. I'm actually playing it on Game Pass.
Yes.
Yes. Interesting. Profound. But I like it a lot. I think it's really cool that they kind of brought it back to how in the old days, this is how they usually do like special editions for Devil May Cry games. They'd be like,
yes.
Okay, here's the main game.
Yep.
Okay, now we're gonna come out with special edition, and then you can play as Virgil. Like every game they do that, and I think it's hilarious.
And then we all buy into it. We're like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Virgil's the man.
Let's do it.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a turbo mode, which obviously is just going to be quicker,
It's fast.
fast pace. I do believe they're putting in a Dark Prince.
There's a whole dark mode.
forget what it's called.
I actually just read something dark, but dark
Yeah.
something.
And it's basically just more enemies on screen.
Yes,
just
a ton
just to
of
tout the
enemies.
power of whatever console you're playing it on.
Yeah.
But I'm down for it. I'm ready. Like I just want to beat this game, so like I understand the story.
The story was so good. The story was so satisfying.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play through it.
What do we got up next?
Next up was Abe's Odyssey Soulstorm, or I can't even think of it. I don't think that's the correct title.
I can't even tell you what that is. I don't remember that.
Was that the Oddworld?
Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. I don't have much to say on that, to be honest.
I have nothing to say.
I liked them. I played them as a kid. I remember the first one I played was the one that was on Dreamcast. They're fun puzzle platformers. Like I think they're very unique.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not an appealing game to me now. As a kid, I liked them a lot, but it's a game. It's coming out on PlayStation. I'm cool. The next one I do believe was I don't remember what this one was. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah,
the weird teaser.
So that was like super weird because they're going through all these scenes and you're like, oh, it's some kind of like creepy like indie game looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then they show this laser tag area with like the animatronics or whatever. I'm like, is this Five Nights? And then they go to the next scene and they've got like the gold statue,
Golden Freddy. Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, holy shit.
I'm interested. Freddy's Security Breach is what it's called.
Security Breach. Yeah, the voice like talking to the crying kid or whatever.
Yeah.
This seems super creepy. I always thought, I don't know. I know that it's like a bunch of like jump scares and stuff, but I love like the theories that people get into behind the lore and everything. It's so cool.
Shout out to the Matt Pat.
Yeah, not just a theory.
A game theory.
So yeah, I'll probably, I don't know if I'll check it out. I'll watch someone check it out.
Right.
Or that'll be an extra life thing one year. What was up after Five Nights?
Next up is Tim's most anticipated game.
Ooh,
so
we're down to the last one.
That.
Tim, why don't you go into this final game?
Okay, so when I was a young boy, Demon Souls. Look, you can't tell me that you didn't sit there and watch that and be like, this has to be the most graphically best looking game that they showcased, because that game took all of my energy away from me. Just watching every bit of that game. And I've watched that trailer so many times. I've watched so many analysis videos of this thing. Blue Point has done so well at bringing one of my favorite games, my favorite game from the Souls series, back to life. And I never imagined it would look that good.
Yeah. This is that game that I can see, like, this is it. This is next gen.
You see the next gen for sure.
Yeah.
Like down to the ray tracing lighting and the reflection in the puddle when he's in the dark hallway with the torch. Like everything about it was just when he killed something and backstabbed it. It wasn't just a simple backstab animation from the Dark Souls games. He literally, it closes in, you see him backstab, and he even like does a turn and pushes him down. Or when he does like a front parry, he stabs him, lifts him up, and throws him down. And when he gets the souls, it's not just a little white whisper that goes into him. It's like this blue mist, and you can literally hear the whispers of the soul entering you. Like loading when he hits up like a little bonfire, a little checkpoint, instead of there being a loading screen, it's just like a fall gate into the next area instantaneously. Like, oh my God. That game, the demo was just everything.
Yeah, man.
That I could ask for. Like
it's got me picking it up.
Exhausted thinking about it.
Oh yeah. Like even like the sizzle reel afterwards.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I actually went back and I watched the PS3 playthrough of that boss room that he went into. Mm-hmm. Amazing how good of a job they did.
You're talking about the first boss, that you're actually supposed to lose to. That boss that he lost to, you're supposed to lose to that boss. That's like Demon Souls saying, "Hi, welcome." Like
Yep.
that's what that is, right?
It's the Metroid of
Yeah.
the Metroid moment.
So in that boss fight, that room in the OG version, it was a whole new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even the dude's fat jiggling, and one of the coolest things somebody pointed out to me, and I lost it after thinking about this, is so the biggest lore of Demon Souls is this fog, right? And the old ones brought this fog into this world, and they're trying to bring it and trying to keep it going, right? And if you watch that boss fight, you can see as that boss is moving around, like in its eyes and its movement, the fog coming off of him because he's bringing it into it's just stupid little stuff that wouldn't be necessary or even needed. But because this console can do it, it's there.
Yeah.
And it just adds more to the lore. Dude, it just... Yeah.
I think the part that got me most excited was seeing the dragon.
The dragon. Oh yeah,
The dragon
was really
Yeah.
nice.
I remember that
was
dragon
really
killing
good.
me so many times in the OG.
I just, it's a completely optional thing too.
Yeah.
But I just hope that my only fear is there's a thing in that game in the OG called tendency, and I'm not even going to talk about it because I want people to experience it. I just don't want them to remove it. I
don't
really
think
hope
they
they keep it in there because to me, it was one of the most important features that was never talked about. It literally was never talked about. The game didn't teach you about it. It was a hidden feature that was extremely important. And I really hope they keep it in there.
I bet they do. I think it's one of those
And they don't need
things-
to talk about it. It just needs to be there. And us veterans will know what it is right away.
Yeah.
And I just... God, I hope
there's no way
there.
they would do
You
something
know what?
like
It's
that,
not going to
you know?
ruin my experience if it's not, because look at that fucking game. Just look at the game.
Yeah, that's... I've seen the
Even-
spider hit the oil. Oh, man.
Oh, the spider.
So that oil was new. So that's another thing that someone caught on to. If you go back and you watch that fight, it's just when you watch the original one, it's just a wave of fire that comes down that hallway, right? I mean, granted, it's a PS3 game. You don't really think about it. It's a wave of fire. Get out of the way, right? But the fact that they have the spider spewing oil onto the ground gives reason for the fire and why it's able to do what it's doing. Like, it's the little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, God.
It looks really good, dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
And it's
I
a launch
know-
title.
It is a launch title.
Yep.
It's a launch title. Which was the only reason I was stressed that whole night afterwards. Not coming to PC, at least right away, by the way. So if you guys watched that and haven't heard any of that, like there's a weird miscommunication thing at the end. Like it was like PC or PlayStation 4 also coming to PC, console exclusive. They like clear that up. It is a PS5 exclusive, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
And launching at $70. Which they said in their press release that they're kind of that's their in between, right? So their games, Sony's games, are going to be either between $50 or $70. Which I know I kind of had a one-off conversation with Tim, I think yesterday, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Because the time it takes to make these next gen games is going to be longer. There's more people involved, I'm sure. They're working harder than ever, because it's not like the amount of work is the same as it was on a previous game.
Yeah, it's definitely more.
So I'm
like
100...
if you would have seen Demon Souls, you would know how much work they clearly put into this game.
So I'm happy to put more money in the devs' pockets for the hard work that they do. I don't understand the grief behind it. People are mad about it. I don't know. Just pay. These people
Super
are putting in
Nintendo
hard
games
work to
were-
bring you entertainment. Why don't you want to
Right.
pay them what
Right.
they're worth? I mean, if anything, 70 isn't enough. On some
Yeah.
tires, I'm sure.
It's like food. I will pay good money for good quality food.
Yeah.
Every
Right.
time.
Yeah. The only thing with pricing that I guess kind of worries me is that some people, and including myself sometimes, you judge a game based on its price. Like you see a $70 game, you're like, oh, that means it's going to be like a high quality, long. It's going to be a good game. But then you look at these indie games that are fantastic, and they're like a fraction of the price. So are people going to, with the price going up now, And this being a problem in the past, are people going to look at $20 and be like, oh, wow, like this game looks awesome and it's only $20? Or are some people going to be like, oh, it's only $20. It can't be that good. I would hope the majority of people research a game and are like, wow, this seems right up my alley, and it's only $20 and I get to support an indie studio. That's awesome.
It's going to come down to,
I definitely go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's going to come down to like, I mean, like you were saying, like it's going to come down to the consumer, man. Cause I think us being like, veteran gamers, we understand, well, we understand the industry to an extent, right? Like we understand like, okay, these people are putting in, hours upon hours upon hours to bring us these fantastic games. Whereas other people are going to be like, okay, this game's out. It's $50. It's probably good. Or it's $70. It's probably good. So I think in our eyes, it's completely worth $70. But I think people who are just seeing it for face value, they're like, whoa. I'm, last generation, I was only paying, $60. Why am I have to fork up another $10 to buy these games now?
Yeah.
But
remember, gaming in general it's not a necessity, right?
What do you mean, Tim?
So you don't need gaming. So if you are worried about the pricing of these games, then it's that much of a problem for you. It's not a necessity.
Yeah.
So like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a luxury.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gaming is a luxury.
But
I need it. What's that?
I need it. It's my escape. Okay.
Oh,
I need
that's
video
fair.
games.
That's fair. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't know what I would do without it.
Off of video games.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't know what to do without it. But I also understand the fact that like it's a luxury.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to buy into this luxury because it's what I enjoy to do, and I don't have the right to tell these companies what to price their game.
Right. Exactly.
I think it kind of highlights, maybe not highlights. It kind of showcases what the differences are between the Xbox and PlayStation strategy when it comes to next gen. I feel like with PlayStation, it's like we're giving you new games, we're giving you like the best the console has to offer. Like we are going to push this brand new console to its limits. We're going to give you all kinds of new stuff to experience on it. Whereas Microsoft, they are focused on, they're very consumer friendly. They're focused on accessibility, making sure as many people can access their games as possible.
Yeah, service.
Yeah, focusing on things like xCloud and Game Pass and their Series S that's digital only. So they're taking a different approach because if you look at the titles for both, like this first showcase or not, there's already so much more I'm excited for on the PlayStation than the Xbox. And this isn't some silly console war shit. I'm getting both and I enjoy both for what they are. I'm just kind of trying to highlight the differences, right? If I had to only get one, it would be PlayStation because I want to see these games kind of push to the next level. I want to see what the future holds for gaming. I want to play Final Fantasy and God of War and Demon Souls. All this stuff I want to play on the PlayStation. And with Xbox, they've got a great service and I'm going to keep paying for it. There's nothing else like that out there. They just don't have a whole lot that has me as excited, right? There are definitely games that I'm sure that I will play. I think they've got Medium as an exclusive, that horror game that looks really cool. So they have reasons for me to play it. They're just going two different routes, which I think is great for the industry, and great for us.
Yeah. At the end, we all win. I mean,
we all win, absolutely.
So at this point, I am literally buying my Xbox for upscaling of my current games I'm playing that have that availability for them, right? So like Avengers, Call of Duty is a big one. So that's the primary reason I'm buying my Xbox. And if this says anything for people out there who know me, I took time off work today for PlayStation, not for my Xbox. So I requested time for when the PlayStation comes out to actually play it. I didn't request time off to play the Xbox, so I'm actually prioritizing, which has always been the opposite for me almost every single time. But and that's not to say anything bad about Xbox, but there's nothing that they have on launch day that I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta sit down and play this for 3 hours or for 3 days, like PlayStation has. PlayStation has those exclusive titles that I want to play. I mean, if I'm dead serious, I've not seen anything on Xbox that looked nearly as good as Demon's Souls, graphically wise. I haven't. They haven't shown something like that, right?
Yeah. No,
so
it's
So, and it's really weird because I thought Microsoft's Xbox is more powerful on paper, except for that SSD, and that SSD is clearly working out for Sony, which is really weird.
Yeah, because Xbox has the NVMe, right? So that's like a whole nother technology that PlayStation just doesn't have.
Right.
And yeah, I mean they're crushing it.
But we haven't seen Microsoft show anything off that really showcases that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to bash Xbox, because Microsoft is like, I lean more towards Xbox and Microsoft more than I do PlayStation. Like hands down, it's not even close most of the time.
At least all our watchers, listeners.
But I haven't seen anything that I am so hyped for the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox.
Yeah.
But I want an Xbox because I want to play the games I already enjoy on my Xbox upscaled. Yeah. And I want to see what they do with their service, because that's what they're about. xCloud just launched, or Game Pass now. It's officially called Game Pass, just launched. And I'm buying like a tablet. I can play it on my phone and it works okay. It works okay.
I mean, it works pretty well for me. I mean, I was sitting in
my
room,
like it's not bad.
Yakuza
I think I need to not do Fallout 76 on it. I think it's just that game that doesn't work very well. It's a massive game to try to run like I'm trying to run it.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the service that they offer. It shouldn't be like, oh well, I can't. This game is offered on xCloud. Yeah. Well, I just shouldn't play it. You know,
correct. Like that's the thing is like I'll be honest, I definitely haven't had the best experience with Fallout on it, but I'll try some others. But that's their service. That's where they're at. Heck, even Sony has a service kind of like that, starting with their PlayStation Plus thing, right?
Yep.
Whatever that's called. I mean,
their PlayStation Plus collection.
I mean, it's not a ton of games, but the games they listed off were all phenomenal games that we'll be able to play day one.
Yeah. It's a start, right?
Yeah, that's a good start.
I think it offers a ton of games that, if for whatever reason, like if you maybe you only had an Xbox last time and this time you were deciding to try out PlayStation, if you missed some of the great exclusives of the PS4, that's awesome that you get to play God of War.
I might go back and play that. Like I legit might go back and play God of War now.
100%, especially with the new one coming out. That will 100% be something I replay on the PlayStation 5.
I get to replay Bloodborne, which I haven't replayed in a long time.
Yeah. They're just giving people games for free. It's not the same as Game Pass, where it's like a service that you're swapping out games. It's just a one-time thing. Like, here's some games, enjoy them.
Yep.
So let's talk about price. So we've kind of talked about the differences between them so far. Getting into the price. So they launched the disc version, $4.99.
Yep.
And then the discless, the digital version for $3.99, which I think a lot of people were happy with. They came through and matched Xbox, which is
huge.
That's huge.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Because now you've leveled the playing field there. And to be honest, maybe even have an advantage, because if your Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are competitors, you can technically get the same hardware in the PlayStation 5 for $100 less than you would pay for.
Yep.
Granted, we know that they're not even, but still $100 is $100.
Yep. There's nothing coming out for the Xbox day one that showcases the power behind it that the PlayStation has coming out with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's Gears of War. They've at least said that's going to be one of those games that's going to be,
it's upscaled.
But but there's going to be like adding in like HDR, 120 FPS, like all that stuff. So it's still technically going to be showing off the power of the Xbox One, or sorry, the Series X. But it's not like a new game.
Correct.
You like specifically made for Series X. This is just a game that's already out that you could use for PC on those settings, but now you can play those settings on Xbox.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, and
that might be great for some people.
And it probably will be. I've told you several times, I'm really excited to see how Warzone compares to my PC version that I play. Right, that's one of my main reasons I'm excited for the Xbox is I want to see, because I choose to play on my PC 90% of the time because of the higher field of view and all these other reasons. And I'm hoping that this matches it because I would actually still prefer to play it on my Xbox. So I'm excited for those reasons. I just really wish we had at least one Forza. I think we get Forza. Forza might be something, and
maybe.
And I like Forza, but
yeah,
racing games get me so far.
I love racing games. I'm ready for Gran Turismo.
You had a race tonight.
Already. I had a race tonight. Yeah, I got 8th place. I got some points.
Dude, I was blown away. Someone told me, I was like, he's racing now?
I gotta stay competitive, man. I'm ADD with these competitive games, man.
I'm excited for both. I think Sony did well, though. I think the fact, do we know, did they slash their price? Like, did they actually, do we know?
I don't know if we'll ever get confirmation that that made them, like Microsoft's announcement of price made them change the price. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but very well could be.
But good on them.
Yeah.
They got a good lineup. I mean, they have what I would consider the optimal launch right now.
And they've got Godfall, the Gearbox game that's coming on launch date.
That's right.
Which is another, that's one that I'm really excited to play. So
I need to look more into it. I remember it being really cool looking.
Yeah. I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But I never really like delved into it.
Big flashy armor sets and swords, axes, and looter shooter. From the people behind Borderlands, so I'm sure it's
a looter slasher. Okay.
Looter slasher. So yeah, with that, I guess we get into the dark side of what happened yesterday.
Guys, we forgot about 2 games.
Wait,
I thought you said we were done.
I didn't say anything about being done. You guys just went on to the next thing. Fortnite on PS5.
Okay.
You got to give Fortnite props. It does look really good on PS5 though, like with the new engine and better graphics and stuff. Okay. Anyways, but in God of War, that's another thing. We talked about it before. Talked about it a little bit earlier, but get it. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Anyways,
definitely. I mean, that was the biggest announcement for me. It was my
Trevor,
game of the
God
year.
of War.
Yeah, Trevor physically went weak.
Yeah.
I saw him. Yeah, he almost collapsed. It was hilarious.
2 years ago. Was my game of the year, and I was distraught with emotion.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's good coming next year. What were we getting into?
The dark side.
The dark side.
What happened last
night. So they announced the price, and then they also announced the date. Right? They're like, "All right, it's coming out November 12th, 2 days after the Xbox. Great, we get 2 new consoles same week." It's not like it's 2 weeks after to where, for those people that have to have something right away, it's going to be a game changer. Still get both within the same week. Then they're like, hey, pre-orders are going to start as early as tomorrow. And we're like, oh my gosh, as early as tomorrow, I'm excited. I can't wait. And then an hour or two later, I think 2 hours later, I think it was around 6, Walmart tweets out, we're not going to make you wait. Pre-order your PlayStation 5 right now with Walmart. And everything went to shit after that.
Yep. I'm literally in the middle of a COD match while Trevor's texting me all this.
Yeah. It was a disaster. And before I go any further with that, I feel bad for Sony because this was not their plan. Their plan was not, okay, you guys just open them up whenever. I'm sure that they had at least some sort of suggested time for these retailers to start. But I mean, me and Tim talked about it earlier. Walmart, when we were working at GameStop, at least Walmart was notorious for breaking street date
all the time.
Just for whatever reason.
They could. Yeah. They paid the fine and called it a day.
Yeah.
Canada of Walmart. Always leaking stuff.
So I mean, Walmart really is the bad guy in this scenario, because all these people are going to Walmart to pre-order, and then these other retailers, Target, Best Buy, Amazon, they're losing out on orders. Like they just sit around and wait? No, so it's just a domino effect of retailers going live.
Which they could have, by the way. If they would have waited until today, it's not like they would have lost sales.
Yeah, I get it. But from
like,
I'm sure from an executive, just from, not that I work in that business, but from where I work now, if someone else has launched something and you have it like available and you're ready to launch, you're not going to wait 12 hours. You're like, okay, we're doing it now. Right. I get what you're live. I get what you're saying, to where like, yeah, they could have waited, but also, yeah,
right. Strike while the iron's hot.
And,
yeah, exactly.
And it was just 2 minutes like each place.
Yeah. And this was not like, oh yeah, it's up on Walmart, let's get our pre-orders in. Oh, now we can pre-order at Target and Best Buy. No, this was okay, I'm gonna try and get one in at Walmart. Okay, it's not working. I'm gonna keep refreshing for an hour. Oh, I'm gonna check Twitter. Okay, now it's live at Target. Gonna do this. It was a mess. I don't think any site was really prepared.
2.5 hours I tried for Best Buy and got nothing.
I will say, I think just because I have my alerts set up on Twitter, I was able to get one of the first Walmart ones. So I was able to get one of those kind of before everything blew up. But then, I don't know, that made me kind of skeptical. How for sure is this? Because they said yesterday, Walmart's doing it today. Is this just going to get canceled? So I kept trying the rest of the night. Me and Tim were on Best Buy for probably 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Because it was in our cart. We made it to checkout. We made it to fulfillment. We made it to all these phases, and it always kept erroring out. And interrupt me if you want to, if you have another part of it. I'm just kind of telling our story from yesterday.
Spot on.
So eventually it just got to the point to where Best Buy was sold out, and me and Tim were out of luck. They sold accessories though. So I locked in a controller, a headset, and a charge stand. With them,
a charge stand? Damn.
So at that point I had my console and my accessories, and I got some games from Amazon. So at this point I'm like, okay, I'm pretty set. But then Fat Kid Deals, I think a little before midnight, Fat Kid Deals tweets out that it's gone live at Amazon. The one that we were all waiting for. That was really like everyone's last hope, right?
Yeah,
was Amazon,
really was.
Or at least, especially in Tim's case. Like Tim at this point didn't have one locked in. I could tell he was frustrated
because I could have gotten one at GameStop.
Oh okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
So I could have gotten one at GameStop, but GameStop being the way that they are, when you pop up to their site and you go to the PlayStation 5 thing, there's 5 listings for it. Okay, so you have the PS5 digital, the PS5 physical, $499, $399. You click on both of those. Not available, but bet your bottom dollar that the other 4 that are packaged with bundles that are each well over $600-$700 all had one. So basically, if you went to GameStop, your only option was to pay basically $700 for stuff that you may or may not need.
Yeah,
but that's how you were going to get one.
It fits for those specific people. Like if that is exactly what you want, great. You're not paying any more or less. You're paying what you would have otherwise. So yeah, it's a great deal. But
and it was in my cart and I was ready to check out, but I was like, no, I don't need this. I will wait. And
bless because Fat Kid Deals coming in clutch with that Amazon announcement.
I was screaming. I was told Tim. I was like, Tim, here's the link. Go. Am
I about to get a PS5 right now? I was like, what he said. I was like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, here, go.
Yeah,
and then I was like, Trevor headsets live. Go.
We heard,
So
good job on them.
Locked in.
I feel so much more comfortable having it through Amazon too.
Me too. Yep. That's why I still have it. I've got one at Walmart and one at Amazon because I'm not going to be the person that like I'm not reselling. I will cancel it if it doesn't, if one of them doesn't cancel before me.
You're doing it for your own security in case something goes south.
Yeah, I'm not a scalper 100%. Or a bot or anything. I'm doing it for my own security. Or that'll be.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it. reselling.
I couldn't be a scalper for 2 reasons. One, I don't like the thought process of it, right? Because there's definitely someone like ourselves who wouldn't want to like buy it at that price. Two, I'm too lazy to go through the effort of reselling it if I did get it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't want to resell it. I'd rather not deal with the hassle of getting it, shipping it, and all that.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Like especially looking at the 3080 cards today.
Sorry guys.
Oh my gosh.
That was just dumb. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Seen those go on eBay for one of them sold for $70,000 on eBay today.
Okay, I would have scalped it for that.
If
someone offered me, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. My only thing is like I don't want a white PlayStation. Like I don't want a white console. I don't like white consoles. That's just me. It's a preference thing. I mean, obviously I got my white PS3 or PS4 controller back here because that's what I got originally. And then I was like, okay, I don't really like this anymore. But
Be waiting a while,
right?
I'm hoping for a Miles Morales one. I tweeted it out. I may tweet out at Insomniac and PlayStation, be like, hey, please, just if you only make 5, just make sure I have one, please. It's gonna look great next to my
edition until like next holiday season.
Yeah, I don't see another color or a special edition for at least another year.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, yeah, especially with Miles, like they would piss off too many people that are locking into these launch consoles for them to be like, oh, by the way, now you can actually do this one.
Do it.
If they were going to do it, they would have announced it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. It's just wishful thinking.
Look, I don't blame you.
I would pick one up in a heartbeat. Yeah. I don't blame you. Maybe I would be hopeful for a God of War one next year, but
yeah,
who knows? They could make there's a lot of color variants and light schemes they could do with that.
That's what I love about their design.
Yeah, looks really cool.
I really like their
design. A lot
of
canvas.
I know everyone hates it, but
I don't hate it. It's hard to be worse than the Xbox Series X.
God.
It's just a box.
It is.
It's just a box.
It's very easy to make fun of the PlayStation for like the Kaiba reasons and the envelopes on a router reason. Like it is. And I laugh at those because they're right.
They're funny.
But it's still a slick design compared to Xbox.
Yeah. It looks like something like, oh, this is next generation technology, right?
And just when you thought the Xbox couldn't get any worse. They're like, here's the Series S. And they just took the top of an Xbox One X and put it on the side.
Yep. I don't get the design choice behind the black circle, man.
Dude, I thought it was such a troll from you because I was like, there's no way they would do that. And Trevor's like, no, I'm real like, no, you're not.
Yep.
That is terrible.
Yep.
Oh, gosh darn it. Microsoft, I love you, but you need a new guy in your design department.
Yeah.
Like I've even seen videos of like people like breaking it down the Xbox, and it's very like easy to break it down. They literally just like take the top off, and it's still just a box.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because it doesn't, like, aesthetically, it's not too different from their Xbox One X, right? Like it's kind of like in the same, but it makes me think of that Office quote, Tim, where it's in season 9 where they're making the tower with the complaint cards. And, Kevin's like, God. Make it go wider, up. And that's guaranteed that's wider. What happened in that meeting. They're like, no, wider this way.
You're not getting it. Make it go wider.
You're not getting it, Peter.
This is the widest Xbox ever made.
Tallest
Xbox.
It's the widest Xbox that's gone up.
Yep. Dang it. So what does that cover? That covers the pre-order debacle. They did say they are going to have more PlayStation 5s at launch than they did the PlayStation 4, which is great news. I think we're going to see these things in waves. Walmart already restocked tonight, and they even gave people a notice like, hey, this is going to go live at 9 p.m.
Oh, so nice of them.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see a few other instances of that.
Microsoft definitely came in and gave them a little poke about how they're like, don't worry.
Yeah, we got you. We'll tell you
We'll
the
make
time.
sure you know.
We have a date and time.
Yep.
we'll
And
let
that
you know
time
when
is
they're live.
11 Eastern.
Yes.
So we will all be ready. We'll be
I'll be
refreshing on Amazon, Best Buy. We'll be refreshing everywhere.
I will not.
I'm going to try Best Buy first because I want that in-store pickup.
Is it sad that if I don't get it, if let's say for whatever reason I miss out, I'm not even going to be that upset at
No.
first?
If they sold out, I'd be like, all right.
I would have been upset about the PS5 solely because of Demon Souls.
Yep.
There are other games I'm definitely going to play with it,
Souls.
but
Yeah.
But that I've been waiting for that for
Forever.
way too long.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that I was so genuinely upset because at first I'm like, Trevor, you're worried about this? What? Oh, you little rascal, you.
Yeah.
1 hour later, I'm like, oh my god, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, I think
How
so.
could
So
this happen?
that's kind of like my side of it with the Xbox, right? Like, I'm not gonna pick up an Xbox until we have Halo, the confirmed date for Halo.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's completely fair.
Like until they have something worthwhile.
At least a title for you, right?
Right. At least until they have a title that I feel like it deems me worthy of digging into my bank account and getting that money for that Xbox.
Yep.
I'm not gonna buy one.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit.
Like most of my collection is with PlayStation. Granted, I'm getting the digital one. I do have some games down here that are physical. But that's for my PS4.
That's maybe that's a good like final topic. So they said that the PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with 99% of the PlayStation 4 library.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So you are going to be able to play your PlayStation 4 games. Granted, I've never understood backwards compatibility. Like if you want to play something on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, keep that console. You know, like those games are made for that system. I get it from like an ease of use, I guess.
I think
So,
that's
like,
what it's about. Easy to clutter.
But like, I'm not going to expect my PlayStation 5 to play PlayStation 2 games or PlayStation 3 games.
Wow.
I don't care about
Xbox
that.
does it.
And that's great that they do. I'm not saying that that's I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing that they do that. But I don't get why people are just like, they're so angry. Like, the whole reason I need a PlayStation 5 is to play old games, not new games.
Right.
I think a lot of it, like when I think of it and I think about how it was, like if you think about PS1 to PS2, it just happened. Right?
Sure.
Like it just was. So like, especially for like Sony and the people who stuck with Sony the whole time, like it wasn't a thought. It was just like, oh yeah, my PlayStation 2 is going to play all my PS1 games because it's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
So you go into PS3 era at the beginning, there were certain PS3 game or systems that would do the same thing, right? Now you had to get certain ones, but it was those certain ones would do it. You're like, okay, cool.
That's
So
why
that was
PS3
important.
was a failure.
So right.
The game
So it just it was almost like a norm at that point for Sony, and it was just kind of taken away, so people freak out about it. I get it, and it's one of those things that, do I need it? No. Would I not buy the system because it didn't have that? Absolutely not, because I'm not buying this to play last generation games. I'm buying it to play this generation games. But is it a nice addition? Is it something I would like to see? Absolutely.
It's a great feature.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's nothing that I would not want to see. Like if they included it, cool. It just means I don't have to put or I can go ahead and put my PS4 in storage and, still go back and play an old game if I wanted to.
Trevor's just like, no, take it out.
Yeah, I don't want it. I will pay less for it now. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's nothing that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, it's same.
It just, and again, it just fortifies the two different mindsets that they have, right? One's forward thinking, one's focused on accessibility. We want you to play how you want to play, where you want to play, whatever you want to play. Yeah.
Yep.
Which both are great. We all win.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all win.
I think that's the main focus that I think Xbox is working on, is that no matter where you're playing the game at, as long as you're playing the game and enjoying it, good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's all they are trying to work for. PlayStation is like, we want you to play our games. We'll bring in, our PS4 games as well. You can play those, but then we're going to move that and we're going to think this forward. Exactly like you were saying, Trevor.
Yeah.
And that's why I love PlayStation.
PlayStation is focusing on being your home console, your number one home console is what PlayStation is focusing on doing. They're not focusing on anything else because they don't need to focus on anything else. I mean, realistically, if you're looking at it, they are doing well with what they have. Why dive into an area that you don't need to dive into, that you don't have any business in?
Yeah.
Why try to do the same thing that they're doing when you don't have any business doing it? Why try to do the portability thing anymore when you don't have business doing it?
Right.
So focus, be the best at one thing instead of being okay at everything else.
With
It's
that,
just in PlayStation Pass. I'm just kidding.
That's actually what I wanted to bring up. So in the same interview where we found out that 99% of PS4 games are going to be backwards compatible, they were also asked about Game Pass, and they basically said, we don't see how that's like a feasible option for us. Like, that's nothing that we're looking at. It's not really, it's not feasible for us. And that's exactly, that's fine. It's not, that's Xbox's thing. Let that be their focus on this big ecosystem. And Sony's going to keep looking to the future. What's the biggest, greatest future thinking way that we can define these games?
I mean, it's just like Microsoft without VR, but PlayStation has VR.
Yeah,
literally. Was literally about to bring that up. You know what console has VR support? PlayStation.
Yeah.
So why? So, and I think, like you said, Microsoft looks at that like, okay, well, why do we need to dive in that department? Because you got it on PC, which is Microsoft to begin with, right? You have all this stuff.
Right.
So we won't need to focus on that. We'll focus on something else. Sony can have it.
Yep. I mean,
that's okay.
That's exactly why Nintendo has they've never been in these conversations, because they are doing their own thing that is not even in the same realm. Whereas
it's not. Sometimes it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Whereas Microsoft and Sony for a long time, they've just kind of been doing the same thing. Really until this generation, I feel like. Maybe towards the end of last generation, but really this generation is kind of where we see that split, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, we talked a lot.
We did. There was a lot.
There was a lot to talk about.
I didn't think there would be this long.
If you've stuck through till the end, your prize is, I don't have anything to give away. I'm
tray
sorry.
for a day.
Tray, you get tray for a day.
Tray for a day.
Like a lunch date.
Like a buddy thing.
Like a friend. Is this a friend thing or a romantic thing?
Whatever they choose. Trey, I'm sorry.
If it's romantic, it's okay.
There you go. So whatever you want. It's tray for a day.
Tray for a day.
Okay. Boom. Hit me up on the DMs. At HeyTreyLive. HeyTrey_live.
Yes. At HeyTrey_live.
Hashtag Tray for a day.
Hashtag Tray for a day. You heard it here first.
World exclusive.
Can we spell day DEY when we do this? Hashtag
You could.
Tray for a day.
I mean, the Bengals do it, so why not?
Yeah. Why not? There are no rules in 2020.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
I'm looking forward to
Demon Souls is everything.
Demon Souls is everything.
I'm looking forward to Tokyo Game Show, because that's my outlet of the gaming market, is the Japanese market. So that's my favorite. So
that's a week away, right?
Yep.
Yeah. About close enough to where you can say that. Sure.
I'm excited for the Resident Evil.
Capcom has announced they have a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm not up for it.
Well done, PlayStation.
Well done. That was a fantastic showcase. The pre-order thing was not your fault. I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic fucking showcase. Thanks for listening to episode 77, guys. I know it was a long one, but I think it was this was a really big one. Like this is not a podcast that I don't even know the next time we'll be. It'll probably be well over 6 years if I had to guess. Like this is a new console is not something that is going to come for a very long time. I think we're kind of past that point. Yeah.
I bet we get something for Nintendo.
That's true. That's true. But these types of launches we're not going to see for a long time. So thanks for tuning in. This was a special one. We are living at a fantastic time to be gamers. So if you do like the podcast, make sure you subscribe, whatever platform you listen on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Google, or even if you just listen to YouTube, drop us a subscription there. Tim's been putting a few little tips and tricks that they've been fun to see him. I like seeing Tim get excited about what he's doing. So check out some of the stuff that he's thrown out there. And if you've got anything you want to hear us talk about, or if you got some questions, I'd love to do like a Q&A at the end of some of these episodes. So if you have some questions, it doesn't have to be like topic specific, just anything gaming related or fam related, throw us something in the DMs and email, fam@forallmankind.com, throw it in the Discord, whatever you got to do. Let us know. Until episode 78, might be Tokyo Game Show. Who knows what we'll find out in the next week. Could be something else. But until episode 78, hope you guys take care, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later, guys.
Until next time, see you next time.
Thanks for listening to FAMcast. Be sure to subscribe for the latest episodes and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and our other socials at For All Mankind.